right. Hello, my health freedom loving friends. Misty Karlfeld here with Health Freedom Idaho. And today was a momentous, historic day in Idaho and really for the United States of America. But first, before I get into what happened today, we have to do urgent news because this is breaking news. We had an event for Heather Scott, Representative Heather Scott, and she was going to talk about COVID and the Constitution on Thursday evening. But because Governor Little, our little tyrant, has decided to move us in Ada County from Phase 4 to Phase 3, we lost our event space.
Our venue. Yeah.
So now we don't have an event space for Representative Heather Scott, but I'll tell you right now, we will find a place, and it will be in Ada County, and the people will gather because the governor doesn't get to tell us that we can't uphold our First Amendment rights.
Amen. Yes. That's right. Exactly.
So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to figure out where we're going on Thursday evening. So hang tight with us, okay? So be checking the event. There is an event on our Health Freedom Idaho page. Make sure you're on the event. We're going to give updates. I'm sorry, was there something?
No, that's it. So make sure that you like the event, because once you like it, then you can subscribe to the update so that you are the first to know of where our venue will be for this event. And I can promise you this event will take place.
And in case y'all don't know, that's Chelsea. She's our beautiful event coordinator. So we're going to get it done because...
You're very much going to get it done.
Yes.
I'm more determined now because we're being censored.
Yeah.
Because the forces that be do not want Heather to speak.
Right. Of course they don't want to talk about the Constitution and our rights.
No, of course not.
That would be outlandish.
Yeah. Really?
Or any of the other 14 legislators with a spine.
Oh, snap. Who do we have here?
This is Attorney Colton Boyles, in case y'all aren't familiar yet, on our Health Freedom Idaho YouTube channel. You've got to check out the interviews that we've done with Attorney Colton Boyles. And so what was your point there just now?
Oh, we just like to do deep research and have fun and exercise our God-given, natural, fundamental constitutional rights. And I don't know how you guys were raised, but I was raised when someone tells me not to do something, I'm really interested in wanting to do it. So it's kind of a bad strategy, I think, on their part. Yeah. But
my mom
I really
said
do.
The same about me.
Exactly. I really do appreciate, though, the people who showed up to deliberate on why we're not under attack and why there's an emergency, an extreme disaster emergency, and an emergency, and all this different stuff declared. And I think the people should start looking into potential open meeting law violations because a majority of our elected representatives did not show up. But if you look at the code, it says in the event of an attack, either the executive or the legislature can declare that. And the legislature is the preeminent fact finder in Idaho pursuant to Ransom v. Garden City. And so the legislature, apparently in the dark, behind the scenes, all got together, got legal opinions, and decided not to show up to deliberate whether or not there was an attack. And I'm pretty sure, listening to a majority of the 15 legislators that were there today, they had extreme concerns that we were under an attack, whether it was a deliberate attack by China or whatever. They thought we were under some type of an attack. And so I think the proper way for our esteemed honorable legislators to have made a decision without violating the law would have been to convene on the 90th day and then deliberate regarding whether there was an attack or not. If they would have voted at a majority with a quorum that there was no attack, guess what? They can't meet in an extraordinary session, maybe. But they're the legislature, they're their own branch of government, and they need to start acting like it.
That's right. That's exactly right. So today they did not use the attack statute, which they could have used and then not had to have a quorum to have a discussion and a vote today. They did not use that. And I mean, Sarah and I were a little bit disappointed about that because we wanted to see real change today. But I guess if we're going to look at the bright side, the conversation has begun because of the brave 15 that were here today.
Absolutely.
What do you want to say about that? Anything?
Well, I can just reiterate your point. I mean, it would have been nice to see the resolution that ended the emergency declaration, but they, at this point today, did not feel comfortable going ahead with that. So
what did they do instead of the resolution?
So they wrote a proclamation making their concerns known to the legislators who didn't show up and to the executive branch. Which I think you're right. I think that was a good first step in the right direction. I'm really curious to see where this goes from here, because that is literally just a first baby step. Like, we have a lot of work to do because we need to get our freedom back. We need to get our Republican form of government back.
Right.
So what can we do now, Sarah? I know that I want to personally email, call, and thank the brave 15 that were on the floor today.
We have to.
Yeah. I mean, I know
they're going to get hammered.
They already are.
By the mainstream media.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just going to shred them.
Right.
So the patriots have got to love on them and thank them and really surround them.
Right.
I wonder if Colton has anything to say.
With love and care. And thank you. And
Colton, what do
thankfulness.
you think about this?
Not surrounding in a bad
do?
way. Yeah.
There was a resolution passed today, a proclamation by the 15 legislators, and they resolved as the 65th Idaho legislature to immediately reconvene in an extraordinary session to address the emergency occasioned by the actions of the governor's office, and I quote, to violate Idaho's separation of powers provision. And so we're concerned because the governor is literally drafting statutes. That's clearly a violation of the Constitution. It says all laws must be passed by a bill. He has absolutely no authority to amend, suspend, draft, whatever, a statute. He's got to, like the president, take care to enforce the laws. And we have 15 legislators, and they're not, low IQ or whatever. I mean, they're saying their opinion is he's violating a separation of powers. The separation of powers exists for a reason, and it's specifically so we don't have what's happening now occur. So because of that, the governor's overreach enlarges the legislative authority to act because you have checks and balances, and that's the reason they're there. They're calling for that to happen. And so, you want to recall Governor Little? You should recall every legislator who didn't show up to voice their opinion, regardless if it was in support of the governor or not. Why? Because they're the people's elected official. And then the next part of this resolution was that they have sworn to uphold the Idaho Constitution, and they must not fail said oath. So regardless of if your constituents support or oppose it, there was an event here, and you needed to show up and give your 2 cents, deliberate about it. Why deliberate behind the scenes where the people can't see what you're talking about? If there's not an emergency, there's not an attack, why aren't we talking about that here in the Capitol for everybody to watch? Put it on the line. Tell us where you're at. So I have serious concerns about that. And not only that, but in our lawsuit, one of the representatives that was here is my client that didn't want to shut his church down. And we're representing him suing the governor to tell the governor he's violating our fundamental constitutional rights. His attorney general's office is threatening me personally to take my family's home and my money because our lawsuit is so frivolous. That is so outlandish and so absurd that I have no words that I could say over a live stream on that, right?
So you can't clip it out.
So you guys really need to understand how far this has gone, where we have 15 sane, loving, kind legislators here resolving and proclaiming that the legislature must meet an extraordinary session because the governor is violating the Constitution, and if you don't come, you're violating your oath of office.
That's exactly right. And I want to point out, because I think today, once again, we've blown up the mainstream media fake news narrative. So this whole, they're coming to the Capitol to overthrow the government. I filmed the whole thing. There was no such action, behavior, or thought happening at the Capitol today. There was a group of patriots supporting our brave legislators who were there to represent the people, represent the Constitution, and they did so with intelligence and heart.
I don't know about you guys, but I love how they pulled their chairs from behind their desks and they convened in a circle.
I do too.
I thought that was so respectful and just the grounds for, let's talk about this.
Right.
Let's talk about the issues that are at hand in such a respectful manner. It felt like a gathering.
It did. The only problem with that is they weren't mic'd, and so I guess the people in the galley really could not hear. And then I'm there with my mic, and I was trying to make it so that people could hear. Guess who had a great big mic and a boom? the fake news media, the MSM, because they have tons of money. So if anybody wants to donate, because we're now press, if anybody wants to donate so that we can have a microphone and a boom, so that the citizens can hear for themselves without having to support mainstream media, you can support Patriot Truth News with Health Freedom Idaho. And that's the Range Broadcasting Network. Yes, that's who we represent now. So we've brought it, to the citizens, which I'm so thankful that we've had that path created for us, because our heart, all of us at this table, is to make sure that the citizens have a voice and that you can hear what the legislators are saying and discussing, so you know how to go forward.
And that it's not misconstrued.
Exactly right.
Through mainstream media. Like today, we were 5 minutes in and I was pulling up all of the different news articles, and one was far right, And I'm like, oh, okay, apparently upholding the Constitution makes you far right. Like, all right. So you guys at least got the bird's eye view of what really happened. And I challenge you to challenge the media and say, this is not actually what happened. Report honestly.
Right.
Yeah.
We need more people calling our media out.
Yep.
Well, and we have to be the real press.
We do.
Because, this whole, I'm so insulted by this overthrow the government garbage. It's such garbage.
It's so disgusting.
Because
it's a flat lie.
The real overthrow of the government is the governor trying to take on the responsibilities of the other two branches of government.
Right.
So here we are today. The whole point of today was to right that ship, to bring us back to a representative republic and to have the respect for the three co-equal branches of government. So we are not the ones overthrowing the government. If anybody, it's the governor's office trying to overthrow our representation.
That's right.
And we're sitting here literally with the agitators and their armed security that were coming up yelling at everyone, telling them they were snowflakes, they need to wear a mask. We're not having any problems with them right now, because we are here to learn and have our minds changed and be open to having our minds changed and to love on people. And we want to tell them the truth because we love them and they're important. And every liberty person we get on our side is like 1,000 of the real snowflakes. So take that time with that person. You need to sit there and you need to love on them, and you need to give them the time to show them the folly of their ways while keeping an open mind. And that's what I saw from 98% of the people that were here today. They just were concerned and they wanted to do whatever they could do to support it. And there was a few bad apples, but this whole media spin and how these articles are coming right out and far right, I didn't hear that. I heard people saying prayers, being very respectful, saying we don't have an issue with the governor personally. I think he's a genuine great guy, but this is a constitutional issue, and so this is our prerogative. So it's like, look, man, leave it on the field. If you got a problem with it, you don't get in a fight after the game. You take it out on the court, and then you walk off, and then you go hang out.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add about today before we go on to calls to action?
I don't think so. I think we covered it.
Okay, I think we covered it too. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to waste my time like battling with mainstream media and try to hold them accountable. They're so beholden to the money. I think I'm just going to walk away, and I'm going to support citizen journalism. I'm so over it. So that's my new soapbox.
New life motto.
Well, welcome to my new soapbox. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to do going forward. Obviously, first of all, we need to really support the legislators that were here today and give them all the support and thank them, because not only just for them, and that is important because they were brave today, but also to set an example to the other legislators that when these legislators step up for our Constitution and the rights of the people, that they're going to be supported by the people. And I think maybe some of those legislators that held back are needing to see that they're going to have that support. Not that I agree with that stance. That's not what I'm saying, but I am saying, they need to see that there's going to be support there and they're not just going to be shredded by the mainstream media, and that's all that is going to take place. The citizens need to support the legislators that are doing the right thing. So I would say that's the first thing. Secondly, the signatures.
Well, so we're hearing that the proclamation might come out as soon as it's official. They've all signed it today. It's going to come out, and they're going to ask everybody who was not here to read over that proclamation that was written and to sign on to it, even though they weren't here today, to join in and to sign it also.
Right.
So that is going to be a big push for us, is the minute we get our hands on it, we are going to be pushing it out there to everybody who wasn't here today, all the senators and representatives that were not here, and I want to see their names on it.
Yeah, and I think we're really seeing the layers of freedom lovers here, right? The ones that are really brave and defending the Constitution. We're here today.
Yeah.
If we get other people on signing up, then we know we can work with more and educate more to actually hold a real session and terminate the state of emergency.
It's our second string.
It is. It's our second string.
But you have to do it, Misty, because if you don't, then what's stopping Brad Little from amending the statute that allows the legislatures to reconvene?
And not only that, but he can interfere again with the November election if we do not stop this now. And he's going to keep spending that money.
Constitutional emergency.
For sure. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So that will be next, and then getting our legislators back here for a session. I mean, we have emergency session. It must be done. The state of emergency must be terminated. If we continue on this path, he's going to keep suspending our rules that do, some of them, protect the people, like the parental rights rules that he has suspended during this state of emergency. Did you know if CPS takes your child right now, he has suspended the rule that allows you to know where they go if they're moved? Did you know that he has suspended the rule that allows you to see your children? You have not lost your parental rights when CPS takes your child or your children, but they are acting like the government now owns them and you don't even get to see them or know where they go. That's what is happening under the state of emergency. We don't even know what is in the other, 200 rules he suspended?
Yeah.
What else has he suspended?
Or what's next?
What's
Yeah.
next?
I mean, the push with the coronavirus vaccine. I mean, we are fortunate in the state of Idaho. We have all 3 exemptions. So what's next under Dictator Little's rule?
Yeah.
And how does the Attorney General support amending, drafting, and suspending statutory provisions when there's no place in Idaho code it says that? It specifically says rules, regulations, and orders. It all has to do with administrative agencies, which are part of the executive department under a separation of powers analysis. Sure, Brad Little can be in charge of the Department of Health and Welfare 100%. I'm absolutely okay with that. I want him to be able to act quickly and decisively when he needs to do it. But guess what he doesn't get to do? Oh, Mr. Boyles, oh, by the way, you don't have a religious exemption for immunizations for your children now. I'm going to amend that statute, right? Oh, Mr. Boyles, how far is this going to go?
Right.
You know, I can't elect my legislators now in person. I have to mail some ballot in,
With our
even
names
though
on the
the
outside
law
of the
doesn't
envelope.
require me to do that. So if I'm confused, aren't the cops going to be confused?
Yeah, good point.
So his own law enforcement authorities don't know what to do. They're confused.
Yeah. So what do you think what remedies do the citizens have at their fingertips that they may not know about right now?
Well, the one that I was kind of thinking about today after I was watching this happen was the violation of the open meeting laws. I think that a decision was made by the legislators that didn't come to not come. So I think they were getting these legal opinions, emailing these legal opinions to each other, engaging in conversation. And in Idaho, we have a thing called serial conversation. So I may not like eating the cereal, right, but like serial killer. So I can go, like, let's say we're a board and 3 of us were a quorum. I could go, hey, Chelsea, what do you think? And pass it on. And Chelsea goes, okay, well, I'm not talking to Colton anymore. I'm talking to Misty. Hey, Misty, what do you think? This is what Colton thinks. Pass it on. And then they could bring the telephone game back down. And then if I'm leadership, I'd go, oh, I've got support. So I know that we just won't show up. And then there's kind of a hint that the message goes out. There's a lot of discovery that I think could go on there. And so if we could get a little war chest going, we're going to get right in the middle of all of their communications really quickly. And so instead of going for a fight, let's use the carrot instead of the stick. Why don't the legislature just reconvene and discuss whether the emergency needs to be terminated, whether there is some type of an attack, and then you get to vote on it, right? And then the people will go, okay, well, we elected you, so we accept it. A majority vote is transparent. That's government. And then our next remedy would be at the polls. But our remedies right now, I can think of several different types of lawsuits we could do. I know the legislature can act. They have constitutional authority to do it. The court can't stop them. The government can't stop, or the governor can't stop them, right? But a roadblock is everybody that didn't show up today. So I'm thinking you got to start spending time with your legislators, your local sheriff. Put it on your calendar once a week. Call your sheriff, have a conversation with him, get to know him. Call your representative, call your senator, try and reach out to the governor, get to know these people. I mean, you got to think that Janice McGeehan was vigorously opposing what is going on. So not only do we have a split in our separation of the powers, the different branches, the executive itself is split now. That makes it very, very weak. That means the legislature has the ability and the power to find facts and convene if they want, right? Because our executive is split.
Yeah.
We've been saying that all along, though. I mean, you should really get to know your representatives. So, I mean, outside of session too, start building those relationships so that you can be a contact person for them. I mean, because a lot of the times they do rely on us for information.
That's our duty.
It is our duty.
It's our duty to educate our legislature.
Elections have consequences.
Yeah. It's not
Know
like...
who you're electing.
And they're fun. It's fun. They're nice people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are nicer than others.
Some are. Yeah.
Senator Friend Martin's not nice.
No, not
No.
at all.
Not nice.
Not
So.
my friend.
Yeah, but some of the other ones are nice.
I can speak as a constituent of his, as Consera,
As
because
can
we
I.
are both constituent.
Yes.
So.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm going to derail for just a minute.
Yes, please do.
I've seen so many emails coming from Senator Fred Martin. Every time he has a constituent email him about something important, please give me a call.
Yeah, he won't put anything in
Please
writing.
give me a call.
Yeah, he wants to talk on the
I
phone.
want to talk on the phone. Why would he want to talk on the phone and not have anything in writing on email?
Oops, sorry. Yeah.
What is it that he has to say that he wouldn't want captured on email?
Well, and interestingly, I just did a public records request on his
Oh,
emails.
I know you did.
And I'm getting a little pushback from Legislative Services Office, so I'm not sure what's in those emails, but I'm going to find out.
Yeah, and I guess they don't want you to know.
I guess not.
And now you have your press release.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
the press
true.
pass. Will
Press
that
pass.
help in
I
some
don't know.
way? I
Probably
don't know.
not. We'll see.
I mean, here's the thing. The citizens are supposed to have access to this information because they represent us.
Yeah.
So we're done with the days of here's this elitist group and then here's the citizens and the citizens are supposed to come over here and just be quiet. That has come to an end, my friends.
No.
No.
There's a reason they're called public servants. They literally work for
Public
us.
servants.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes,
Get
you work for
the
me.
government that you put into it.
That's
that you
that's
allow.
yes,
Yep.
exactly
Yep.
right.
So we're not going to allow this crap.
No, we're not.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly right. So I hope that you are all inspired today. We may not have terminated the state of emergency today, which would have been optimal, of
Yes,
course,
of
because we
course.
want to our republic back, and we want our liberties back, and we want our parental rights secured. We want the governor to stop having the ability to spend money frivolously without any legislative oversight. But we did make some headway.
Yeah.
So don't be disheartened. The conversation is happening, and I would say Idaho has done something today that is historical. And we did have 15 that were brave enough to do it.
And we are going to post the 15 that were there.
Oh, yeah, we'll put their
I know I've
names.
started a post
Yeah.
for that. So we are, because I know many of you have reached out to all of us independently of asking who the 15 were. So
Yes.
we are working on that.
Get
So
those
we're
Sorry.
gonna get that to you. Yeah,
Sorry,
it's
we've been
a
so busy.
day.
And they prayed over the house.
Yes.
And the Spirit of the Lord was in the room.
Oh my gosh.
And
I have
they're-
goosebumps now just talking
exactly.
about it.
Yeah.
So there's something more at work here.
That's what I think too.
And
Yep.
there, you better make your decision because you don't want to end up on the wrong side of the fence. I'm a
right.
student of history, and we're getting really close to having our republic and our next generation be demoralized, and we're getting very, very close to the precipice. And so now's the time to gear up and get engaged and do what you can to educate yourself and figure out how can you grow a garden, how can you help your friend out, how can you create some relationships with your neighbors, and get off the social media networks, get off the Silicon Sultan crack where Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg get to tell you what to do, and pull out of the system, get out of the matrix. Red pill, vaccines cause cancer, people get hurt every day. CPS want to take your kids. I've heard them say it in court. My clients have told me CPS wants to put their kids in foster care. This stuff all goes on behind closed doors in these confidential court cases where I can't actually go out and say it in the public because I would get my bar card pulled, right? So, let's find out where these leather chair, big cigar meeting rooms are going on, and let's shine some light on it and watch the cockroaches flee. It's time to take the power back, and not in the anarchy sense. It's time to take a power back in the constitutional republic
Our rights.
sense, where we're disrespecting our ancestors' blood that was spilled on the battlefield by sitting at home thinking that riding our boat is too important than preserving your children's future.
Yeah. Amen to
amen to
that.
Okay.
And I just have to say really
Yes.
quick to that point, the energy that was in that House chambers today was unreal.
It was
Like you could
awesome.
feel
all
it.
teared up multiple
It was so
times.
amazing. So I just wanted to throw that in there, that God was there. It was amazing.
Well, we started it with prayer and we ended it with prayer, and there was so much talk about God and our duties as God lovers, and then of course the parents talking passionately from their hearts about their children, and then the grandparents talking about their grandchildren, and the concern over the debt that we'll be handing over to our children's children.
Right.
So it's not lost on the people that were in the room how devastating this whole thing can be for generations.
Yeah.
So did you have anything before I wrap it up?
No.
I don't think
Anything
so.
else?
Just stay tuned. There's more work to be done. So this
So much
isn't
work
it.
to be done.
Please, 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 if you haven't already followed us, like our page, go to our website, healthfreedomidaho.org. But we are not done. This is just a stepping stone.
Just the beginning.
This
Yeah.
is this is a
We're in
marathon.
it for the long haul, friends.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is a marathon and not a sprint.
Yeah.
So we can't grow weary. We got to take rest where we can, right? And work hard, and then work harder, right? And I just want to close this with saying what I've been saying all along. We are Idahoans and we are Americans, and we will not stand down in the face of tyranny. So remember that. Be prepared, work hard, and get in your fighting position, which is on our knees.
Which means if they want to contact trace you, say no. If they want to
Amen.
talk to you, say no. What do you say? Why are you approaching me? Why do you want to talk to me? Why do you stop me? Oh, whatever they say, it doesn't matter. The next thing you say is, am I being detained or am I free to leave? Doesn't matter what they say. The next thing you say is, I invoke the fifth, then you don't talk. And if that person doesn't leave your house or wherever you're at, trespass them, call the cops, call the authority. You don't have to talk to these people. They have no right to take your bodily fluids or stick you with the needle or take your blood. Contact tracers, CPS agents, they're just like cops. They're an agent of the state, and they do not have the authority to talk to you. It's a social interaction. Tell them to leave politely. So don't talk to them.
You see why I love him?
Bye.
Thank you for joining us, Attorney Colton Boyles. And
welcome.
what is the name of your law firm, my friend?
Thank you for having me. It's Boyles Law, PLLC, from the great state of North Idaho. Feel free to get directly in contact with me on my website or call Health Freedom Idaho. If you need help and you think you need help, you probably need help, so reach out sooner than later.
True.
That's true. All right, we're signing off for now, friends, and we'll keep you posted. Hey, again, Representative Heather Scott's event is still on. COVID and the Constitution, it's still on Thursday. Now we just have to get busy finding a location. So keep your eyes on our Facebook page and our website, because there will be updates there. Bye for now.
Everybody,
Thanks for following us.
I gotta run. This was wonderful.